So a user asked how they could put a timer in the calendar that would cause an automatic refresh to take place at a certain interval and continue to do so. So this is an example here. I have it running inside of Tab UI right now, and what's happening is if I run this, we will see that the calendar is going to load. Move this over. And every 5 seconds you'll see this loading data come up as it's doing an automatic refresh. Now of course 5 seconds is awful soon. You probably won't want to do that, but this is show you how this is set up. So to make this all happen, I've got a button down here where I can stop the refresh. To make this all happen, I have a Tab UI. Inside the Tab UI, I just have on the home page set up as a URL, and the home page URL is a particular A5W that contains a calendar. And I just took this standard JQ calendar and I saved it as a page, as a web page, and I called it Fill Test. And inside this calendar page, A5W page, this is all A5 generated code all the way down to this point. And I added script tag. This is the code I added here. So I added script tags, and inside the script tag I set up a JavaScript set interval, and inside that set interval method I am calling a refresh calendar function, and I set right now 5,000 milliseconds, so every 5 seconds. And then I define the function refresh calendar, and I'm using jQuery to call a method on the grid container div that's inside the calendar itself. There's a method called reload, which is what happens when you click the refresh button. So we're just going to call that method and let the calendar reload. And the reason I'm using the window index 0 .jQuery method is because when this is running inside this A5W page, it's inside a window, and that window is the first window inside this main window, and since JavaScript is 0 based index, that the first window is going to be window 0 .jQuery. Again, jQuery is just calling this, is grabbing the grid container div and calling the reload method that is attached to it inside the jQuery code that drives the calendar. And I create another function called stop refresh, and I'm just using the JavaScript clear interval method and using the interval ID that's being defined when I first set up the set interval. And then at the bottom of the page I just stuck a button on there, and I'm calling the stop refresh function that I created, and that's just so I can show that we can stop it if we want to. So I took all this, again, put it inside a tabbed UI because the user had asked for this particular thing. He said he was running a tabbed UI, and he had a calendar defined in the home page of the tabbed UI that was sitting in the front and wanted it to refresh automatically. So this all works quite well. We can show inside of Firefox. Let me just bring it up here again. Inside of Firefox, we're going to run this inside of Firefox. And you'll see I have Firebug running right now, and I have the net tab open, so I'm going to see all the callbacks. And every 5 seconds you'll see when this lights up that it's making a callback back and returning the data from the calendar and doing a refresh every 5 seconds. And of course when I click the stop refresh, then that's going to quit. It does no longer refresh here. You don't see anything here. If I click the actual refresh button, you'll see it does the post back. So I hope that's useful to you. Thank you very much.